Hello, everyone, and welcome back. All right, we are so back. Okay, so today, um, I just had a little story that I wanted to tell. So yes, another story time type of video. So this story happened fairly recently. It was at a McDonald's. Actually, before I get into that, I just wanted to tell you all thank you so much for the support on the Little Mosey video. We need to get that out there as much as possible because Dan Reynolds has to pay up, okay? We can't not have him pay up, okay? We need justice for this young boy who is so viciously attacked. All right. Okay. So, yeah, this story happened. I'm not going to say the day, but it happened fairly recently. Like, I was at a fireworks show when it happened. Okay. So, what happened was I was parked up next to or I was in a parking lot that was right next to another parking lot, and that was the parking lot of a McDonald's. And I was like, shoot. So I walked over to that McDonald's, and I'm not even gonna lie, okay? The reason I was going to that McDonald's was to get a Grimace shake, okay? Because I'd had one once, and I was like, that was really good, you know? And I wanted that experience again. So I go into this McDonald's, right? And I go in there and I'm about to order. I actually saw someone I knew in there that I hadn't seen for a while. So I went in, we talked for a minute, and I went up to order. And as I'm going up to order, there's this guy right in front of me. And I can tell that he's like a little bit, he's got some edge to him, okay? He he was kind of an older gentleman, and he seemed pretty mad. He wasn't like yelling at the workers or anything, but he seemed like he wasn't, the happiest camper on the block. So, anyways, we get in there, right? Or at least I get in there because I was the only one there, and I was like, "Yo, can I get a Grimace shake?" She was like, "Yeah, for sure." So, as I'm waiting for my Grimace shake, which is something I thought I'd never say, by the way, I'm gonna take a drink of water real quick. Hey, hydrate. Take this second to hydrate. Ugh, I love water. All right. So, what ended up happening was while we were sitting up there waiting, there's only actually, I guess three people, more like 2.5 people in front of me. Okay, there's this lady with like her 4-year-old toddler, just like this little boy. There's this guy who we just talked about, and that's everyone. Those are the 2.5 people, and this kid, he's kind of just being weird. He's kind of just like running circles around the mom. And what I came to find out later is they were a part of a massive family in there. Like, we're talking, they probably took up 2/3 of the restaurant, and it was a busy night. So, yeah, they're all waiting for their orders. And the best way I can describe them is they were like a Walmart family. You know those people you see in Walmart, like the mom's on the scooter and she's got like all of her little gremlins, like stationed around her, like hanging off the cart in some way. And I don't say that as an insult to kids because I love kids. Um, but those kids, they're those families, I guess I should say. Anyways, so I'm watching them, and this kid's just running circles, right? And I kid you not, just this kid just balls up his fist, and that guy that was right next to them just punches him square in the sack. Like, it was a solid hit. I'm sure everyone could hear it. And he's like, "Oh!" Like, he kind of makes like this stock like old man grunt sound effect. Like, this guy was just a walking, talking stock video. And he was like, "Ah!" And he like swatted the kid away. He was like, "Don't hit people, especially there." And the lady looked at him like her neck snapped around. Actually, she wasn't like that mobile. She was pretty fat. So she kind of like picked up her kid and then did like, the hip position, and she like turned to him. She was like, "How about you let me parent my kid?" And he was like, he just balled up he just punched me right in the, I don't remember what he said. We're just gonna say oh yeah, he said nuts. And he was like, punched me right in the nuts. And she was like, "Well, I'm still the one who like gets to parent him," essentially is what she was saying. And he said something to the degree of, "Well, when your kid's being a stupid mother effer, then and I had already like walked back because I could tell what was about to happen. I'd already walked back and sat at one of the empty tables. I actually recorded part of this. Maybe I'll throw it up on screen just so you guys can hear. But they're they're just talking like this, and I'm like, oh man, I'm about to witness my first ever like public altercation. I'm like, this is a big moment. This is like a coming of age, like rite of passage, right? So I'm sitting there like, oh man, it's about to go down. And this lady is just yelling at him, just cussing him out. And he's yelling at her too. And then they're yelling at each other. And then all of a sudden, like the workers are like starting to get involved a little bit. And like, and this is how deep this lore goes. They started beefing with each other over it. Like, that's genuinely how deep this lore goes. They were beefing with each other over these two people beefing. And so I'm like, what's going to happen next? So here's what happens next. This like 10-year-old kid from that Walmart family, the one that's kind of causing all this, he looks at that kid, or he looks at that man, and he just yells, "You stupid mother effer!" And like just starts bawling his eyes out. Like he just starts running around the restaurant like, and the lady was trying to like perpetuate this idea that uh this guy physically assaulted her kid, which by legal technicality might be true, but as far as I know, he just kind of like brushed him away. Like he didn't hit him or anything. He didn't punch him like the kid did to him. Which, let me just say, like, dude shouldn't have probably started a fight over this. But this is a really big sign of just awful parenting. Okay? So, these two people are kind of like verbally duking it out. And this lady, at one point the guy literally just steps away, and this lady starts like harassing, I'm not even gonna lie, she was harassing like everyone else in the restaurant. She was like, "You want to go? You want to go?" She's like all up in people's face. She was probably like 5'5", so she was kind of like looking up to most of the people in that restaurant. She was like, "You want to go? You want to go?" And she's like, "My kid just died last week. You want to go? You want to?" And I'm like, okay then. That was a pretty big lore development. I don't know if she was talking about her kid or just a kid died last. Like she was referencing like some news article or something like that. I don't know, but I know that she brought that up, and I was kind of like, "Oh man, like that's, jeez, that's kind of unnecessary." And you know, so at one point, I think it was the manager was like, "The police have been called. Okay, you can stop this." And the police had been called. I'm sure they had plenty of drunk drivers they would rather deal with that night. But no, the fight at the McDonald's was the excursion for the afternoon. So the police get there, they start questioning the two people involved. The lady's crying, the dude's kind of just like, well, and I walked up there, grabbed my Grimace shake. This whole thing probably took about 30 minutes. The people in the back kitchen didn't stop either, which was kind of weird. So, like, they kept going, and like I really wanted my Grimace shake, right? But they didn't give it to me. Like they weren't able to give it to me. It was so weird. I sound like Demi Lovato when she was like, and I came out of the yogurt shop and I didn't get the yogurt that I wanted, and I had a hard time the entire weekend. No, but I got like I ended up getting the thing, which was cool. It was only a small though. Like I could have definitely chalked up the extra what, 20 cents to get a medium. So I was kind of mad at myself for that, but it is what it is. So I walked back, and there was like this big group of people that I knew over by my car. So I was kind of like, I had a bunch of people to tell the story to. So yeah, that is about it. Uh, yeah, that's it. See ya.
But you never hang, then I guess it was a myth. The picture I paint is never gonna change. RPG, we gonna win. Spending this cash from one to the back, we can do the shit all again.